This is Defenders 121. Second part of the Sanctuary two-parter. Nice classic superhero comic type of cover here. And I will be talking about Satan's son's character, as well as a certain member of the Defenders that doesn't belong on the team. Our story here is that a minor Marvel villain called Miracle Man has usurped Satan's son's powers when the latter came to find some inner peace at a monastery. Last issue, the first part, it focused a lot on Satan's son, and to balance it a bit, this issue focuses on the ensemble. The other Defenders, following the cat's premonitions, they have come to the monastery to save Satan's son. And our team here, they get a good action sequence at the start. They fight various animated objects that Miracle Man has sent out to stop them. Stone statues, an ice monster. My favourite bit is when Velcro cuts off the ice monster's feet and it falls over onto Dr. Bedlam. I didn't like Dr. Bedlam on the team, and he is only on it for a few issues, and maybe even was only on the team for his power to be used in this story. But I will explain him in a bit. We have some foreshadowing here. We have Smurf hinting at the direction he will take the team with the new Defenders. On this page, he bemoans the lack of a leader and the need for stronger teamwork, which is the impetus for him proposing restructuring and officially organising the team in the next batch of issues. So they get into the monastery and face Miracle Man. And I must say, I don't make much of Miracle Man's redesign, if it could be called that. But he also didn't have any design worth writing home about beforehand. Miracle Man actually has a character in this though. And I think it was a good choice to re-establish this guy as a Defender's enemy. But it's the case that they never fight him again, when he could have maybe become a dedicated foe for them. Miracle Man teleports them to Indonesia, an island in Indonesia, because he wants to fix the world and be accepted as its god. The Defenders indulge this and didn't consider the second part of that a problem. They instead start debating the ethics of stepping in and trying to alter mankind's destiny. Satan's son obviously knows of the evil demonic energy that Miracle Man has taken for himself, so he is adamant that they need to stop Miracle Man. Miracle Man, using his new powers, transforms this poverty-stricken, famine-stricken, probably even leprosy-stricken island into a paradise to prove that he wants to better the world. I think the Defenders are depicted as being too naive in giving Miracle Man any leeway. They all know that he is a former villain who fought the Fantastic Force. They all know he stole these energies from Satan's son. They all know these energies are evil and that they come from the Netherworld. There is no reason at all for them to take Miracle Man as anything but a bad guy. Miracle Man is kind to the team and barely waits a minute before showing his nasty side when one of the people living on the island refuse his gifts. Let's get to our first talking point, which is Dr. Bedlam. Dr. Bedlam is a member of this team for some reason. Dr. Bedlam is/was a bad guy, and he is on Defenders for the briefest of times. And after this story, they actually forget about him, and he just vanishes from the series without any mention. Dr. Bedlam comes from Fantastic Force. Fantastic Force 113. He was a powerful mind controller from outer space. He was created by Stanley Lee and Sal Buscema, that is John Buscema's brother. He arrived in Defenders a few issues ago, first as a bad guy, then under the influence of the psychics from the Little Hard Man with the Tiny Yellow Car saga, he joined the Defenders. Sorry, I cannot show a thumbnail of all my videos on the Little Hard Man with the Tiny Yellow Car saga, because this is the state of my laptop. I cannot print screen anything. I am obligated to mention that Dr. Bedlam also does appear in New Thunderbells. He was used as a pawn by David Tennant to control people. And then he appeared again in Fabio Nicieza's final story. Dr. Bedlam really stood out and didn't make any sense on Defenders. You can almost see the cogs turning with him, because he is used to resolve this plotline, and that seems his only purpose being on the team. If they had brought Moongarden in a few issues earlier, they could have used her instead of having Dr. Bedlam stick out like a sore thumb. Nice bits with the team fighting Miracle Man, Velcro Ear, and then after her we have the others, like Etrigan the Demon, who was turned to stone like on the cover. Then we get to Satan's son, and I kind of wish we had a little bit more of him. It is basically his story, this Sanctuary story arc. It is a Satan's son story, so I feel a bit cheated. We only get him offering to sacrifice himself to stop Miracle Man, rather than anything deeper or more insightful. He really should contribute to the victory in some way. The ending seems as if it doesn't use Satan's son. What I like about Satan's son is, or what I liked about Satan's son was Well, he is the son of Satan, and he is doing good. You have a story about a man being a hero, in spite of his nature demanding him to be evil. It is far more satisfying to see, and it is more rootable for a character like Satan's son to oppose his evil side, to oppose his father, to oppose his supposed destiny. It is a great hook and idea for a character, and in some ways, in some ways it is the ultimate redemption story. I think Satan's Son benefits comics more as the sort of character and the dynamic that we see in this. He is great in Defenders, and outside of this, he can be used as a good alternative to Doctor Strange, or even in cases which he is better suited for. He is an occult expert. Doctor Strange is like the overall magic guy, but Satan's Son would be better for dealing with evil demons and possessions and stuff of that nature. What we didn't need is a cynical, shirtless Warren Fallis self-insert who has no redeemable traits and abuses and manipulates everybody in his life. Dr. Bedlam, combined with the cat's limited psi powers, they are able to mentally remove the evil demon soul from Miracle Man. And we have an incredibly DC-style ending that it's out of nowhere. They place the dark soul into a snake, which does not seem to be a solution, because now there's just an evil demon snake running around Indonesia. Some more to come with this ending, but one of the letters agrees that Dr. Bedlam is wasting space on the Defenders. I didn't really agree with any of their other points about there being too much romance and flirting in the book, but we do have an extra bit of this story to show here. This is Defenders 122, my first issue of Defenders. Our first 2 pages of this are really nice and wrap up the story better. And we have a lovely bit with Satan's Son and the cat being in love. I wanted to show that because it is part of this story. And it was the first thing I ever read, so this 2-parter was always built up in my mind. I like it. I think there is some great Satan's Son stuff in the first part, and this second issue actually does a lot to tackle what people might criticise about part 1. The snake and Dr. Bedlam, not crazy about that. There could have been a better ending, but the rest of Sanctuary is good. I've got to 7 thumbs up it.